Hey everyone, welcome back to Roots and Roars. I'm Veronica, and today I'm going to talk about our diagnosis journey when our normal slowed down. The thing about MPS is that for the most part, kids develop normally until they don't. Our son Wyatt was our third born, a bright, beautiful little boy with a big smile and even bigger heart. At first, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. But as time went on, we began to notice things. He was slow to speak. He had constant ear and sinus infections. He just wasn't hitting some of the same milestones we had seen in our older boys. As any concerned parent would be, I brought it up with our pediatrician. She listened, but also brushed it off. Said he's the third child. The older ones probably talk for him. But that wasn't it. I don't allow that in my home. I encourage every child to find their own voice and be able to speak for themselves. I know a few of my daycare kids can attest to that when they would try and talk for their youngest brother. And I would say, nope, let him do it. So, to her credit, she did refer us to ENT. And that's when we discovered Wyatt had a high frequency hearing loss, most likely from all of those infections. So we started him an early intervention preschool program. When he was about 3.5, he began speech therapy. And for a while, we thought maybe that would be the answer until his speech therapist pulled me aside and said, I think you should have him evaluated by a developmental therapist. So June 2010, we did. My husband and Wyatt and I sat through an hour and a half of an evaluation. And at the end, the therapist and doctor said something that we'd heard before. Nothing else is wrong. With speech support and hearing aids, he'll catch up. But just to dot I's and cross T's, he wanted us to visit a geneticist. We agreed. At that point, it was just another appointment, nothing urgent. Our consult was scheduled for February of 2011, nearly 8 months away. But then something unexpected happened late one night toward the end of June. The geneticist himself called. He wanted to move the appointment up to October, not because of any test results. He hadn't even seen Wyatt yet. He even said his growth chart doesn't look abnormal. You'll probably come in, get checked, and be sent on your way. We'd heard that story before. So when October 28th, 2010 came around, we weren't too concerned. My husband didn't take the day off. Why would he? This was going to be another nothing's wrong appointment. So I went by myself, just Wyatt and me. We walked into the clinic. Bright blue walls, cars and trucks on stickers lining the rooms. On the way in, we passed a man. Later found that was the geneticist. I didn't realize it at the time, but when I look back now, I remember the way he looked at Wyatt. His eyes narrowed just slightly. He looked curious, like something clicked. He told me his students would examine Wyatt first, and then he'd come in. And when he did, it was as if time stopped. He looked at Wyatt and without hesitation said he has MPS I or II. It's genetic. There's a 50-50 chance of passing it on if you have boys. Life expectancy is 10 to 15 years. Just like that. No sugarcoating, no nothing. I remember my breath catching. I remember my mind scrambling for understanding. He went on to list the common characteristics of MPS. Thick hair, large build, chronic infections. And I thought, you just described my husband. I needed my 6'4" linebacker of a husband sitting next to me in the room, but he wasn't. And I was trying to process it all alone because we thought that it was just going to be another appointment. Then he asked if I had other children. Yes, I said, 4 boys. I showed him a picture on my phone, one we had just taken, because we had got the boys all dressed in their orange and blue to go to Dogapalooza. He took one look and said, the older 2 are fine, but the youngest, he needs to be tested. That was Gavin. He had just turned 1 that August. And then the moment I'll never forget. The doctor stepped out and came back with a big brown medical book. He flipped to a page and showed me pictures of children with MPS. And I was staring at Wyatt's twin. My body went cold. My heart sank. The denial that I was trying to hold on to and grasp that he could be wrong went out the window. I couldn't even bring myself to call my husband. I had to text him. So I texted him everything that the doctor had said in the unsugar-coated way. And his response was, okay, 10 to 15 years for the disease? And I wrote back, no, life. That was when it hit us, the full weight of it. Not just the diagnosis, but a future rewritten. That day didn't end there. We spent the next 6 hours at the hospital. Blood work, urine collection, full body x-ray, then the long drive home, over an hour. In the silence, both externally and internally, trying to make sense of what I had just heard. Made a few phone calls to help me process some of it. And I'm pretty sure that day in Muhammad and Champaign, MPS was one of the most Googled topics. We got home, and then we waited. We waited for Gavin's tests. We waited for Wyatt's DNA results. Waited for a new reality to settle in. That's how our journey with MPS began. Not with a big dramatic event, but with a slow unraveling of what we thought was normal. MPS is tricky like that. It hides behind every symptoms, behind well-meaning doctors and developmental delays. It lingers quietly until it roars. Gavin's symptoms were slightly different. He had the enlarged spleen and liver, which are both symptoms of MPS, at a very young age. He, at 6 months, saw gastro and even was sent over to oncology in Springfield, where we would later get to know the oncologist more and his nurse as they oversaw our infusions. And the oncologist was extremely apologetic for not realizing and diagnosing it when we saw him. He wasn't looking for MPS. He was looking for cancer. He was looking for other autoimmune reasons for the enlarged spleen and liver. Not a rare disease. Not one at all. And as heartbreaking as October 28th, 2010 was, it was also the day we began to fight, to advocate, to speak, to learn, and to love our boys through every single part of their story, especially the parts we never saw coming. That day changed everything, but it also planted the roots that have kept me grounded in this journey, and it sparked the roar that still carries me forward. This is just the beginning of our story. And I hope that you feel the need to stay tuned to all my backstory of my roots. Because when I get to the roaring part, that's when the fun's gonna actually begin. I hope you all have a blessed day and that you take care. And remember that even the small moments can be big moments. Bye, everyone. Thank you.